Hello, my name is Shelby, and this is the channel where I kind of just talk to the camera. My cat is in my chair, so, Mwahaha, I win! Right next to me. Let's see what happens. Because, obviously, I can cut one channel and, here you go. Mic. I should get him a collar and then put it on the collar sometimes, hello, my name is Shelby, and this is the channel where I kind of just talk to the camera. I just got done with the TikTok live. It's getting the end of my day. I ended up talking about the show that I haven't seen in a really long time because I like how confused he is about the microphone. He's so cute. But I started talking about shows that I've been watching because I had kind of like a lazy day where I watched movies, and I ended up talking about Severance, which is the show that I saw a while ago, and it was on Apple TV for the longest time, but everybody's talking about it right now because it just got put onto Amazon Prime. And it's a show about separating your work self from your regular self, and whether or not the big debate in the show is it morally okay? Because work you is trapped, and all that they do is work all the time. And then not work you just gets to have fun and not remember work. So it's kind of is it morally acceptable to do that? If that's the case, And I think Penguin's doing a pull-up, but a cat pull-up. The only way that cats can do it. But, anyways, so that's that show. And it's got a lot of interesting cinematography and just a lot of interesting direction in it. But the movies that I've been watching are my favorite kind of movies, which are really abstract, artsy films. And one of them had really bad reviews, and I really enjoyed it. And the other one had really good reviews, and I did not like it. So I'm going to talk to you guys about those. One of the movies that I watched was called Sea of Trees, and it's got Matthew McConaughey in it, and it's an A24 movie, and it's one of their ones from 2016, and I believe it's their 40th entry in their catalog as far as directing goes. And it's got a really profound director, apparently, who's made some really, really good movies. I kind of forget what it is now. My cat is really on one today. He's really wanting to be a cat. Everybody wants to be a cat. Anyways, so so I watched that, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was very beautiful the whole way through. It really made you think about life, and I had a lot of people who online, their reviews, they were saying that had really horrible acting from both people in there, and because it kept flashing back to this guy's wife. Anyway, at the beginning of the film, you're left with a lot of questions. It's very beautiful. He goes to the Japanese, and it gave me anxiety because I used to have this really scary dream. It was a fever dream whenever I was with one of my exes. We dated for ever, and it wasn't a very great relationship, but I had this fever dream that we went to Japan and we didn't have passports, and we were stuck on the fucking plane, and I didn't have a debit card or anything, and we were going to be stuck in Japan. But it was a scary dream that I had, and the reason why it was a scary dream at that time was because in the dream, my ex-boyfriend was hey, everything's okay. You're overreacting, Shelby. He would always tell me I was overreacting. So in the dream, he was telling me that I was overreacting, even though we lost our passports. We're going to be stuck in a foreign country. We're not going to come back. But in this movie, it triggered me to think about that because he literally left his ID and his wallet and everything in his fucking car. And he got in the plane and everything was fine. Anyways, that didn't even matter because, he was going to off himself. And it kept flashing back to why he was going to off himself. And he met so many other people he met not so many other people, but he met another dude in the forest. And it's kind of just about him talking about his reason why and the other person's reason why. And it turned from a suicide mission to a fight for survival. And it kind of put it on the wire, like how you could be begging for something one moment, and then the next the table turns essentially, and like you're struggling for your life. It turns from, like, not wanting to be there to you want to sacrifice everything just to hold on just a little longer, And yeah. Anyways, it was interesting. Everybody says it has a really bad ending. I really enjoyed the ending. Not gonna spoil any endings for you guys, but then the other movie that I watched was just depressing. So while I was watching the reviews, because after I watch a movie seriously, I usually watch other people review it, because I don't know, I'm a pompous, arrogant film person who likes to watch other pompous, arrogant film people break down concepts and high-level abstract meanings behind things and what they think something's like. So everybody was talking about how bad the score was and all of that, and how bad the ending was, but I very much enjoyed it. And then I went to another movie that was called Manchester by the Sea, and it was one that was suggested to me from the reviews of the Sea of Trees, and everyone was talking about how it is a great movie and it follows somebody on this journey and documents things very well, non-intrusively. And so, you know what? I was intrigued. I really was. And I started watching it. It was interesting, and I like the way it was directed. I'm not going to, shit on it. It was very visually interesting, most of the movie, although I wasn't a big fan of it felt like a spring or, Easter color palette almost. It had a lot of yellows and deep greens and deep blues, and it was very Eastery feeling, and I wasn't really a huge fan of that, but I liked that it captured dreary very well. But this movie got depressing, more depressing as it went on. At first we open up and we realize that somebody has heart failure, whatever. And then we realize that they're dying. I like the way that it cut, because it did a lot of back and forth. It did a lot of, we're in the current moment. Actually, that's something that both of these movies did. Both of these movies did this, where they were in the present, and then they were in the past, and then they were in the present, and then they were in the past. And so Manchester by the Sea, it ended up he had been feeling guilty because he accidentally burned down his entire family and their house in the past, and then his brother dies of heart failure, and he has to watch his child, and it flashes between the past and then the current day, and his brother's child's just a complete asshole, he's just a dick, and the guy who burned down his entire family's house and his family, he's also a dick, obviously. And it's kind of a dry movie about... It's just a dry movie about life, and it's kind of depressing. It's honestly kind of depressing. I know the point of it is to capture somberness in a way, and the reality of things. But I didn't find it a very enjoyable film, despite a lot of the reviews being so happy about it. Because I kind of feel like A Sea of Trees was artistic in a good way, where it was just creative, and it had beautiful shots, and it panned to really pretty Japanese things. And I liked Manchester by the Sea too. It was very artsy. It's just really depressing. You definitely need a palate cleanser, watch a comedy afterwards. Anyways, so I was talking about those artsy films, and then I was talking about Severance too, because Severance is a very artsy fartsy TV show as well, and I do highly recommend it if you like thinking about concepts, you don't want to think about anything. Anyways, so that's it. This was kind of a boring conversation just about shows and movies that I like, I guess. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.